The Cubs just added Cody Bellinger. That's a big piece. Then they made a small trade to make room for Bellinger. Could the Cubs be content going into the regular season, or are there still some moves yet to be made? Bleacher Report thinks that eventually the Cubs are going to make a trade with Cleveland for a former Cy Young Award winner. We're going to talk about that, the Cubs as they build towards the start of the regular season, and more. Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up and hit that bell so you know when we drop new Cubs content. Welcome to the channel, and let's get this thing going. Go Cubs! What do you say, everybody? I'm Mick Gillispie. Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. I'm at Broadcaster Mick, and it is a pleasure to see all of you guys today here on the channel. After yesterday, where the Cubs traded Bailey Horn back to the White Sox, where they got him for Matt Thompson, a pitcher that I'd seen before and a guy that has some potential. You give up one minor leaguer for another, but the Cubs get one of the best prospects that the White Sox have. And they're going to hope to develop him into a pitcher that can get to the major leagues. But it is great to have all of you guys here with us. All right, let's talk about this right here. Kerry Miller with Bleacher Report put out a list of potential landing spots for players. And he thinks that Shane Bieber and the Cubs will eventually work out a deal to unite. Maybe the Cleveland Guardians trade Bieber to the Cubs. All right, here is Bieber's numbers from last year. 6-6 record in 128 innings, a 3.80 ERA. Was definitely not the same ilk from his Cy Young Award season in 2020 and dealt with some injuries. But at the same time, the guy still has good stuff and could be very helpful to the Cubs if he was 100% healthy. And there's been a lot of rumors that the Cubs and the Guardians would get together on a trade. And the fact that Carter Hawkins came from Cleveland gives him the insight of knowing the front office there, the farm system, and obviously Bieber as well. So maybe the Cubs are serious about adding a right-handed Cy Young Award winner to the staff. I think it would definitely ensure that the Cubs starting rotation was solid. Not to say that it's not right now, but we've talked about Trevor Bauer. Maybe through a trade, the Cubs could get Shane Bieber. Obviously adding a Cy Young Award winner to the staff would be a big deal. And that's something that you would think that the Cubs would be interested in. And there just continues to be a lot of smoke around the Cubs and the Cleveland Guardians on a potential trade. So we'll find out if that would happen. So it's been an eventful offseason for the Cubs. I mean, obviously, adding Craig Counsell, what he sees, we were kind of looking forward to how the Cubs would handle adding Cody Bellinger to the roster just to see if they were going to release someone or designate for assignment a player that was maybe one-sided. I thought that there was a potential that it could be someone like Patrick Wisdom, but they ended up making a trade for Bailey Horn to the White Sox where he came from. So it really doesn't give us any insight. And then with Thompson, he's not on the 40-man, so you're not losing a spot, and you slide Bellinger into that role now of one of the 40 guys that can play in the big league. So interesting as it is, not as exciting as we thought it might be. Although, adding Thompson, a starter in the minor leagues that threw a ton of innings last year, and a strikeout guy, if you could ever get him to have better control of the baseball and not walk as many batters, maybe you got something there. So, the Cubs saw him a lot last year. in Double-A against the Smokies when he was with the Barons. So they obviously felt comfortable with that. And they had to do something with Horner. They were just going to lose him and not get anything for him. So, but it's always crazy when you see a guy get drafted, traded, and then traded back to the organization that he was originally drafted from. And a lot of you guys are going, well, let's do the same thing with Dylan Cease. Let's go ahead and make a deal with the Sox and bring him back. And, even though he pitched in the major league. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. Now, are the Cubs done adding after Cody Bellinger? And I don't necessarily know that they are or they aren't. I know they don't have a lot of flexibility as far as staying under the tax threshold, right? I mean, it's in the neighborhood of $3 million. So if you make a move, you're either going to have to be like Ohtani and be very creative, or you're going to have to get somebody that's not going to hit under that threshold. So, we'll find out. I know a lot of you guys are going, well, what about Bauer, who pitched with Imanaga last year, Japan Bay Stars? I don't know. I mean, I'm not hearing the Cubs at all linked to Bauer. I've heard some teams like maybe Baltimore, some smaller market teams where the media is not going to try to eat him up and make a story about him every single day. I think that the problem that the Cubs have is he could go to the White Sox and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if he came to the Cubs, the media would make that a story every single day. And, even though he wasn't guilty of what he was accused of, there's a sense that he is guilty of being a bad teammate and some other stuff. He's not a fan favorite with the media types, and so you're taking a risk if you sign him. But if he does come in and he pitches well, all of that noise, a couple of really good starts would quiet down. It's just the way that it is in the world of baseball. So we'll find out. But kind of a interesting couple of days with Bellinger signing, and then obviously the trade to make a spot for him on the roster. Hey, I thought Pete Crow Armstrong deserved a little praise today, had the game-tying hit. If Pete Crow Armstrong was running the bases on the hit that he had in the ninth inning, the Cubs would have won the game because he would have never stopped at third base. He's the best base runner that the Cubs have in their entire organization. And you guys are going to see that the more that you watch him play baseball. Now, there's been a big debate on whether Pete Crow Armstrong is going to start the season in Iowa or he's going to begin the year and play for the Cubs. And I think he's got a really good chance of playing for the Cubs. I'm going to stick by that. I think that Craig Counsell wants to win, and Pete Crow Armstrong makes the Cubs a better team. No one's going to be better defensively than him in center field, and he can run the bases better than anyone else. It's just a matter of him kind of getting a feel for exactly how to do that at the major league level and not get himself thrown out. But he is fantastic. He's fast. He's got incredible instincts, and he's someone that can help the Cubs win today. And I think Craig Counsell coming in on that big contract is going to want as many guys that can help him win now as possible. So, and the other thing is that Craig Counsell is bringing a different mentality to the table, and that's why they hired him. Jed Hoyer and the front office want someone that's bringing a different perspective. So we'll find out, but that's one of the most interesting roster battles going on so far this spring training. In the ninth inning, he had a little flare that tied the game. The Cubs ended up coming from behind to tie the Reds at Sloan Park in Mesa, and it was thanks in part to Pete Crow Armstrong, who's getting a real solid look right now by the Cubs as he tries to make the team. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. If you want more information on Matt Thompson, the Cubs traded for him yesterday. Make sure that you check it out right here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. Saw him pitch a lot, gave you a lot of insight on that video. We will talk to you guys again soon. Get in the comments section. Tell me if there's anything that you want to get into on there. We'll talk about that as well. But thanks for hanging out, and go Cubs.